This is Nightline.
Tonight, Utah mom murder trial.
Guilty of aggravated murder.
The dramatic verdict in the trial of Kouri Richins, convicted of using fentanyl to poison her husband and father of their 3 sons.
The evidence will prove that Kouri Richins murdered Eric for his money.
Then writing a children's book about grief. What may have been behind the jury's speedy decision. Plus, MAGA and the war. Are there cracks in President Trump's base over the Iran war?
It's okay to speak out against issues that are, I think, pretty antithetical to what the America First movement is about.
Some high-profile Trump supporters, like podcaster Joe Rogan, speaking out.
It just seems so insane based on what he ran on.
We check back in with 2024 Trump voters for their take on the mission. You said that you were looking forward to peace in the Middle East. What do you say now? War with Iran. Nightline special coverage continues. Tonight is day 18. And Banksy unmasked. How the reclusive street artist whose works sell for millions may have been hiding in plain sight.
From ABC News headquarters in New York, this is Nightline.
Thanks for joining us. Tonight, the decisive verdict against the Utah mom of 3 accused of poisoning her husband with fentanyl, then writing a children's book about grief, saying she did so to help her sons cope with the loss of their dad, who she denied killing. The jury didn't buy it.
Joining us now is author of Are You With Me? Kouri Richins, to share her 3 C's to helping kids cope with grief. And Kouri, I want to start with your story. What happened in your personal life?
So my husband passed away unexpectedly last year. So it's March 4th was a 1-year anniversary for us.
2023, Kouri Richins had just self-published a book.
She comes across as this sort of sweet, endearing, grieving widow and mother.
I kind of wrote this book on the different emotions and grieving processes that we've experienced last year, and, you know, hoping that it can kind of help other kids.
She dedicates this book to Eric Richins, who she calls an amazing husband, a wonderful father.
Dad is still here, it's just in a different way.
A dramatic fall from a model mother in grief to a convicted murderer.
In a shocking case, the jury agreeing with the prosecution, finding Kouri Richins guilty of killing her husband.
Counsel, Ms. Richins, please stand.
I could see that it looked like she was shaking, so I kind of looked down where she was wearing high heels today along with shackles. It's interesting to see high heels and shackles. And she was tapping her foot like really fast like this.
Guilty of aggravated murder.
After 2 weeks of testimony, a jury taking just under 3 hours to find the Utah mother of 3 guilty of murdering her husband.
We, the jury, unanimously agree that the prosecution has proved beyond a reasonable doubt the homicide was committed for pecuniary gain.
They came back in the evening with a unanimous verdict on all 5 counts.
We, the jury, unanimously find that the defendant, Kouri Richins, is guilty of aggravated murder.
They knew it. This was very, very fast. That meant that the story that was put forward actually was the story they believed. At the same time, Eric's family becomes very emotional, looking almost distraught as the verdicts are read.
I just had the emergency. My husband's not breathing. He's cold. Okay, tell me exactly what happened. I don't know. I was sleeping in with my kids. I just came in our bed, and I turned over, and he's just cold. He's just cold.
Kouri Richins called 911 very early in the morning, around 3 a.m. on March 4th, 2022.
Immediately, first responders come to their home outside of Park City, Utah.
He's had 2 Eppies, American.
Paramedics are in the house. They're working on Eric to try to revive him. At the same time, you see Kouri over on the side, upset.
What's your first name? What's your first name? So what happened today?
He was just fine. We were fine.
They're asking Kouri what had happened earlier in the evening.
And she said that the night before they were celebrating, she made them Moscow mules. And then she made them lemon drop shots. Everything was good, and then she says that she went into her son's room around 9:30 because her son was having night terrors. Falls asleep and doesn't wake up until 3 in the morning.
My husband's active. He didn't just die in his sleep. This is insane.
Eric and Kouri's marriage had been in trouble in the past, and it seems that trust had become a real issue.
Law enforcement says that Eric's family almost immediately told them that they suspected his wife had something to do with his death. That he warned them that if anything had happened, she was to blame. That Eric had recently changed his will and life insurance from his wife to his sister, and that Eric never disclosed to his wife that she was cut out of the will.
A few weeks after Eric died, a toxicology report came out showing that he died from a fentanyl overdose and was determined to be illicit fentanyl.
Eric Richins doesn't fit the stereotype of illicit fentanyl, right? He attended church at the Church of Latter-day Saints, family man, 3 children.
Eric's family taking matters into their own hands, hiring a private investigator.
And then in 2023, a new lead detective is assigned to this case, and that seems to change everything. Kouri Richins is arrested within a few weeks.
She is charged with murdering her husband Eric, allegedly by poisoning him with fentanyl.
Good morning to all of you.
So Kouri is on trial for multiple charges. Kouri is on trial for murder, attempted murder, forgery, and 2 counts of insurance fraud.
The defense arguing that no one can prove how the fentanyl got into her husband's system or where it came from. The prosecution painting Richins as an unsuccessful house flipper, swimming in debt, who was dreaming of running away with her lover.
The evidence will prove that Kouri Richins murdered Eric for his money and to get a fresh start at life.
For years before Eric Richins died, it turns out that Kouri had been having an affair with a man who worked for her. By all accounts, it doesn't appear that Eric was aware of that relationship.
During that time that you were romantically involved with Miss Richins, did you love her?
Yes.
During that time, did you feel that she loved you?
Yeah. I have a tendency of going head over heels, though, probably more than most.
In their case, prosecutors portrayed Kouri Richins as being money hungry, setting lofty business goals so she can live the high life.
Investigators say she stole $250,000 from her husband out of the home equity. It was his home before marriage, so it was his separate property, and she used that money to start her real estate flipping business.
They showed us millions of dollars in debt. They showed us money coming in, money going out. And then on February 23rd, 2022, just days before Eric dies, Kouri texts this to Josh Grossman. I have a crazy dream. You quit your job, I divorce, and come up with millions and millions.
Prosecutors allege that Kouri Richins had a money motive here, that she believed that she stood to obtain a significant piece of wealth once Eric died. First, they argue that she believed that she stood to inherit $2.5 million from the stone masonry business that Eric owned. And on top of that, they argue that Kouri believed that she would also inherit $2 million from Eric's life insurance.
But Kouri would soon learn that her late husband's estate was something she had no control over. It was all entrusted to his sister, Katie.
I was asked to explain that there was an estate plan in place and that the house belonged to the trust, and that's what I told her.
When you were explaining to Kouri Richins that the house belonged in the trust, how did she react?
Oh, not positively. She was livid.
Kouri Richins' legal troubles aren't over. There are dozens of financial allegations against her in criminal court. After the verdict, the judge set a sentencing date for May 13th. But based on the facts, allegation, and the conviction, it's likely that Kouri Richins will be sentenced to many decades in prison.
We are grateful to everyone who has worked tirelessly to bring justice for Eric. Our focus is now on honoring Eric's life and supporting his boys as we all continue to heal.
For much more on this story, including courtroom evidence of Kouri Richins' affair and financial fraud, watch Impact by Nightline, Love, Money, and Murder, the Kouri Richins trial, streaming Thursday on Disney Plus and Hulu. And now a look ahead at tomorrow's show. Inside the growing threat of stalking athletes, how online obsession can escalate into frightening real-world encounters.
You need to be so aware of what could happen because you don't have to have millions of followers for it to happen. This could happen to really anyone.
And when we come back, is the war with Iran causing cracks in the MAGA wall? Why some supporters say this flies in the face of one of Trump's campaign promises. After the break. Welcome back. Americans deeply divided over the country's war with Iran. As voices of support and dissent rise, the discord reaching even some of the staunchest supporters of President Trump. Does Operation Epic Fury have the power to crack the president's usually rock-solid MAGA base? It's day 18 of the war with Iran.
I don't want war. I don't want a loss of human life. But I have to trust in the president right now. I have to.
Doug King is the kind of Trump supporter whose faith in the commander-in-chief is unwavering. What do you make of the possible impact of a long, protracted war?
I have total faith in our military, and I don't think Iran stands a chance.
While there are some cracks appearing in MAGA world over the war, Doug, a decades-long member of the United Auto Workers Union based in Michigan, is standing firm.
They're actually a national company.
I first met Doug just before the 2024 election. He'd voted both for Obama and Trump in the past. How do you feel like you've been in the last 4 years?
I haven't been as well as I was 4 years ago. I'm actually worried about losing my job again. And the price of groceries are high, the price of cars are high.
Just after Trump's re-election, he told us he felt hopeful.
I look forward to Trump bringing back the United States economy, and I look forward to peace in the Middle East.
When we last spoke with you in 2024, you said that you were looking forward to peace in the Middle East. What do you say now?
I still am looking forward to peace in the Middle East. I think at some point you have to deal with Iran. And wait, do you wait till they get stronger and stronger?
On day 18 of the war in Iran, strikes continued in the capital of Tehran. Israeli forces killed Ali Lariani, who many believe was acting as Iran's de facto leader. And here in the U.S., President Trump's top counterterrorism official resigned, the highest profile administration member to quit over opposition to the war. U.S. Army veteran Joe Kent writing, "I cannot in good conscience support the ongoing war in Iran. It's clear that we started this war due to pressure from Israel and its powerful American lobby." Trump, who has long supported Kent's political career despite Kent's controversies and past associations with anti-Semites, today brushing off his resignation.
And I always thought he was a nice guy, but I always thought he was weak on security, very weak on security. I didn't know him well.
So far, 13 American service members have been killed and at least 200 wounded. It's been over 2 weeks since the Pentagon launched the initial attack with Israel, killing Iran's top leaders, including the ruling Ayatollah.
Oh my God.
Iran retaliating with drone attacks on neighboring Gulf countries, U.S. targets in the region, including American embassies, and effectively shutting down the Strait of Hormuz, spiking gas prices and threatening the global economy. What do you make of the fact that gas prices are spiking?
For me, talking about gas prices seems a little bit selfish because people are dying. But I'm hoping that this doesn't drag on and it isn't a big drag on the economy.
The administration's timeline for the military mission against Iran shifting.
From the beginning, we projected 4 to 5 weeks. We're achieving major strides toward completing our military objective. And some people could say they're pretty well complete.
We will not relent until the enemy is totally and decisively defeated. But we do so on our timeline.
Many in the president's party back his decision. According to a recent poll, 85% of Republicans support military action against Iran. Still, from the onset, there have been high-profile detractors, like conservative host Megyn Kelly on her Sirius XM show.
No one should have to die for a foreign country. I don't think those 4 service members died for the United States.
Popular podcaster Joe Rogan, who endorsed President Trump in the 2024 election, now puzzled by his actions.
It just seems so insane based on what he ran on. I mean, this is why a lot of people feel betrayed, right? He ran on no more wars and these stupid, senseless wars, and then we have one that we can't even really clearly define why we did it.
And Kentucky Congressman Tom Massey, a staunch Republican, questioning the reasoning for war.
We've been given 3 or 4 reasons. Last summer, it was to degrade their nuclear capability into the Stone Ages, and we were told that objective was met. So they can't use that excuse now.
Natalie Winters is a rising voice in the MAGA movement, often appearing with Steve Bannon on his War Room podcast.
I mean, I don't think you can come away with any other conclusion than that the messaging is all over the place.
She's part of the splintering within the MAGA coalition, now critical of the U.S. strikes in Iran.
We don't need to continue sinking blood, treasure, and more American lives to bring about a regime that we don't even necessarily know that they would want to abandon their nuclear desires. My point is, it's okay to speak out against issues that are, I think, pretty antithetical to what the America First movement is about.
Winter says since voicing her opinions, she's been surprised by online backlash from other MAGA supporters.
Certainly never been called a Trump traitor before. I'm as MAGA as it gets. I hosted War Room when Steve Bannon went to prison. So it's interesting to see the people turn rather quickly. Just because President Trump says something doesn't make it right.
If we had just done nothing, I can't imagine what would have happened. How many more citizens they would kill, or how close they could be to having a nuclear weapon.
North Carolina Republican voter Beverly Nathan helped campaign for President Trump in her Democratic-leaning county. In her view, the war in Iran aligns with his America First doctrine.
Promise to keep us safe, promise to keep us economically wealthy. I believe that eliminating a fear and a threat does make America First policy.
As for Doug, he tells me he hopes for a limited conflict with Iran.
I'm hoping that they have a great plan and this is going to be quick. I don't want to see this drag on for a long period of time.
And be sure to stay with Nightline and ABC News for continuing coverage of the war. When we come back, we switch gears to one of the art world's biggest mysteries. Solved? The identity of reclusive street artist extraordinaire Banksy may be revealed at last. And finally, has the world's most famous street artist's identity been revealed? It's tonight's Nightlight. His paintings like Love's in the Bin and Game Changer have sold for tens of millions. But the identity of the street artist, known simply as Banksy, has remained a secret, perhaps until now. Reuters claiming to have used old court records, clues left in his manager's memoirs, and accounts from those who witnessed him in action to declare that the British street art genius is Robin Gunningham, reportedly later changing his name to a very generic-sounding David Jones, believed to be in his early 50s. Will the alleged reveal tank the value of his paintings? One dealer telling Reuters simply, it depends on how he spins it. Only if Banksy confirms it. That's Nightline for tonight. You can watch all of our full episodes on Disney Plus and Hulu. We'll see you right back here tomorrow, same time. Thanks for staying up with us. Good night, America.